Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all having a fabulous Tuesday. Today is all about patina. Oh yes, one of the #1 questions that I get asked on my YouTube channel as well as on my Instagram is how do I get an even patina? Is there something to speed up the patina process? Do I clean off the Vachetta? What is it that I actually do to get the color that I have on most of my handbags? So I thought I would do a handbag files video on that, especially since I haven't done a handbag files in quite some time. So I thought I would do a video just solely on that. And I'm going to give you guys some tips and I'm going to tell you guys some things that I have learned along the way that have kind of helped me acquire the perfect patina in my opinion. And I'm also going to give you guys a few don'ts or some things to avoid or to look out for. So I have quite a bit of eye candy for you guys today, and I also have some notes. Oh yes, I have notes because I want to be very, very thorough as I try to be in most of my reviews. So if I keep looking down, you know why. All right, so let's get started. The first tip that I wanted to share with you guys for acquiring a nice even patina is it's a two-step process that a Louis Vuitton sales associate shared with me years ago. And ever since I started doing this tip, it seems that all of my bags have gotten this nice honey golden color as an end result. So the first step, she said, is when you first get the bag, is to take it out of the dust bag and leave it in a room untouched and uninterrupted for 3 days. In those 3 days, you will develop a base patina that will kind of pave the road towards getting that nice natural honey golden color. And at on the third day, you might be thinking, okay, there's really not that big of, there's no difference, or there's not that big of a difference, or there might be a slight change in the color. But trust me, it will be the difference in it being a honey golden color as an end result versus just using it right out of the boutique or right off of when you first get it. It will definitely make a huge difference. The second step that she suggested is for someone that wants to use the handbag after it's gotten a really nice patina to it. So she recommended that you leave it out in the sun for a few hours just to kind of have the natural tanning process until you get the color desired of the patina. So if you want it to be a little bit darker, you leave it out there for a few more hours, or if you just want to stop it and then start using it, and then the hand oils or the oils on your hands or just normal wear will start to darken it, then you can do that as well. But as I said before, that was just the two-step process that she told me about in the beginning, and I have followed it religiously and it has worked out ever since. Now there are a few other tips or a few other tricks that others have told me about, a few of my clients, a few friends that they have done. I have personally not done this, so use to your at your own risk. But I have had a few people tell me that they have applied Apple Guard to speed up and darken the process of the patina. So if you want to make sure that you don't have to baby it so much with that naked Vachetta that we talked about earlier, then just apply Apple Guard to the handles or to the trimmings or whatever it is, and then it'll just darken the patina right then and there. Something else that people have done is they use oil-based products such as olive oil to darken the leather as well as softening the leather in the process. So that's something that I've heard of them doing. I've also heard of people, I was talking to one of my girlfriends and she says that she tans here in Southern California, and she takes her bag with her and tans the bag in the tanning bed. So, I mean, there's just like normal skin, like I told you guys before. If we're out in the sun, you're going to get darker the longer you're out there, the longer hours. So it's something that works out for her. But whatever you do, whenever you are using, whether it's an oil-based product or whether you are adding Apple Guard or something to that effect or some kind of solution on top of the Vachetta, it's not going to have the same patina. It's not going to have that same look at the end as if you were to let it age naturally, because you're kind of altering it in that sense. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. So if you're going for that natural honey golden color, it might be a little bit altered if you were to use a different solution for it to speed up that process. So like I said before, just keep that in the back of your minds. Now, if you're the type of person that doesn't want patina at all and you don't want to use any type of solutions whatsoever, any kind of chemicals or anything like that, there is something that is quite popular that a lot of people end up doing, and that is that they add Bandeaus or they add Twillys to their handles. So for example, here I have the Speedy 30, and I've seen a lot of people end up adding the little Twillies on here or Bandeaus, so they don't have to worry about any water stains. They don't have to worry about patina. They don't have to worry about anything like that. And yet they still have that nice light Vachetta, and that way they can choose to darken it later on or anything like that. So if it's something that you don't want to necessarily deal with any type of chemicals or deal with any type of solutions, then a Twilly or a Bandeau might be a great route for you. Okay, so there are a few things to avoid whenever you are, you know, thinking about getting that nice even patina. And the first thing is that I always talk about on my channel, and that is whenever you have, whether you have a bag that's been in your collection for some time now, or whether it's a brand new bag, you always want to avoid using your handbag right after you apply hand lotion, because the hand lotion has those oils, and what will end up happening is that when you grab the handbag, because most of us end up grabbing the handbags, or when we use a top handle bag or a shoulder bag, we end up grabbing it in the same spot because it's what's comfortable for us. So what ends up happening is that that lotion will end up staining the leather in that specific spot. So, you know, you can try to take it off, but it's so hard to be able to lift off any oils. It'll just kind of get deeper and deeper into the leather. So I always suggest that if you're going to use hand lotion and then you're going to use your handbag, just give it a few minutes. Let it completely dry to the point where you don't have to worry about it. That way you don't have any stains on any of your Vachetta. Something else that you guys might want to avoid, of course, it's not always the case and it's always not possible, but that is using any of your Vachetta trimmed handbags or top handle bags in the rain. And that's because you'll end up getting water stains. Now, water stains aren't necessarily always going to happen whenever you get caught in a downpour. So if you're going from the office to your car or from your house to the car and there's a downpour, there's nothing you can do and you have nothing to cover your bag, the best thing to do is when you do get those water stains is to take or have a clean cloth with you or in your car or wherever it is, or when you get home, and just kind of dab the part where it has the excess or the water stain so you can lift off the excess water. Whatever you do, do not rub, because it'll end up getting deeper and deeper into the leather. So once you dab off all of the excess water that you can, leave the bag alone. Just let it sit there, and what ends up happening, usually it ends up kind of going away on its own, and then you don't have to worry too much about the water stains. However, water stains are a little tricky, and that's because one of two things could happen. The first thing that could happen is that you know, the water stains go away and you don't have to worry about them. You're so happy, and then 6 months down the line, as the bag starts to patina and it starts to darken, you will start to see those same water stains from 6 months ago start to come up to the surface. Now, that's not always the case, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a story as to what happened to me. I promise I won't make it too long, but I had a pochette accessoire that I had recently bought before we went on vacation to the Bahamas. When we were on vacation, we got caught in this nasty, nasty downpour, and I remember looking down at my handbag. The entire shoulder strap was just covered in water stains, and I was just like, okay, that's it. It's ruined. There's nothing I can do about it. I went back to the room, and I ended up just kind of taking a clean cloth, and dabbing it, like I told you guys, taking off all of the excess water, and I left it alone. So to my surprise, when I came back, I saw that the water stains were completely gone, and I was so happy. And even though I started using the bag a year later, a year and a half later, the water stains never came up to the surface. So I don't know if it's necessarily because I just dabbed off the excess and I left it alone instead of rubbing it in, but I never had an issue with it. But I have heard some people say that those water stains will end up coming up, and then, you know, you'll be able to notice those same stains from 6 months ago, from a year ago, as the bag starts to age or the leather starts to age. But that's not always necessarily the case. So I wanted to let you guys know kind of both sides of the story. While it has happened to some people, it hasn't happened to others. So that's just something else to keep in your mind. So maybe, like I said before, maybe it is because I just kind of dabbed it off and just left it alone. I have no idea. But if you just let it be, it'll end up just kind of going away on its own, which it's happened to me a few times actually with some of my pieces. So that's why I wanted to share that quick story with you guys. And another thing, it's not necessarily something to avoid, but if you have the possibility to be able to rotate your bags as much as you can, can. The next topic that I want to talk to you guys about is cleaning the Vachetta, because as I stated before, that's something else that I get asked quite often. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you guys already know the answer, but I do not clean my Vachetta whatsoever. I leave it exactly the way that it is, because I feel that the bag should age gracefully and with beauty marks. Now, I know that's not the case for everybody, you know, but I feel like the Vachetta tells a story. I feel like the leather tells a story, and no other Neverfull, no other Speedy will have the same beauty marks that my bag has, you know. And let's be honest, that it is so nerve-wracking whenever you get a brand new bag and you're just kind of like on pins and needles waiting for it to get stained, right? I don't know about you guys, but I am. I'm just like, oh, I feel like I can't fully enjoy myself until after I get that first stain. You know, once you get the stain, you're just kind of like disappointed for a little bit, and then you're just like, okay, it is what it is. I can enjoy the bag. At least that's how I am. But you know, as I said before, I don't clean it out. I don't do anything to it. I like the way that it is, and I like the fact that it's a little bit darker and it adds character to the bag. But that's not for everybody. So I just want to let you guys know, go on record, that I do not use anything to clean the Vachetta to try to lighten it up or get rid of any stains. I leave it as such. I even had an Alma that I had purchased, a multicolor Alma that I loved, and I thought about cleaning it out, but then I thought, you know what? No, it just adds character to the bag. But that's not for everybody. And I just want to show you guys the difference between this other Neverfull that I have, and this is in my monogram canvas. The Damier Azur Neverfull I have had a lot longer than my monogram. Actually, I think it's only a year difference, but check out the difference. This definitely has a little bit darker of that honey golden color. It's probably just a golden brown now. And this still has pretty light Vachetta for as old as it is. I think that my Neverfull in monogram is, oh my goodness, I want to say 5 years old. I think it's 5 years old. Maybe it's 6. I'm not too sure. But it still has pretty light Vachetta, in my opinion, for as much as I use it. Even though I use my Neverfull Damier Azur more than any other Neverfull that I have. But it still has, it's starting to darken there. And as I said before, I've had it a little bit longer. So maybe this is 6, 7 years old. Maybe it's 8. I don't even remember, to be honest. And especially because reading the date code on the Neverfulls is the worst because it seems like it's hidden or something. But you can see that it has a huge difference between these two. You know, and there's only a year difference between the two. But regardless, I don't use anything, and I really, really like that. So I wanted to talk to you guys about a few popular cleaning techniques that are very, very, a lot of people rave about, and some people have had great success with. The first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is, I've never used their products, but a lot of people swear by it, and they have such amazing results whenever they do use their products, and that's from Lovin My Bags. As I said, I've never used them. I've never had to clean any bag with their products, but they cater to the Vachetta, especially to Louis Vuitton, so you don't have any issues with it being too harsh of a chemical, too harsh of a solution. But a lot of people, as I stated before, have raved about it and have talked about how wonderful the results that they've gotten when they have cleaned the Vachetta using Lovin My Bags. There are 2 other popular cleaning techniques that I personally am not a fan of, and I personally do not recommend. Now, when I get into them, I know a lot of you guys will disagree with me. A lot of you guys might give me the stink eye. That's fine. To each their own. But I want to give you guys an in-depth reason as to why I don't recommend them. More so one than the other. But I digress. The first one that I wanted to discuss is Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Now, the Magic Eraser, the best way for me to describe the type of surface that the Magic Eraser has, if you guys aren't familiar with it, it's like a fine sandpaper. So while it will end up lifting off any stains that you have, it will end up lightening up any Vachetta that you have. So let's say that your Speedy handles are really, really dark here in the middle, and you take the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to it, it'll end up lightening it up, but it'll end up dulling the leather in the process. And what ends up happening is that if you don't end up using leather conditioner, you run the risk that it'll actually end up cracking the leather, and you know, it won't look the same. And if you're going for that natural, you know, patina process, then using the leather conditioner will end up altering the end result of the end, you know, the desired color that you want in the end. So that's something to keep in mind, but it will definitely dull it out. And I actually ended up using it on a, I don't know, little Vachetta piece that I had from an old bag. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was just a random, it wasn't a Louis Vuitton, but it was a random bag. And I ended up using the magic eraser, and I saw how much it dulled it out. It was crazy, because usually when it comes to leather, you have a little bit of a sheen. So as the bag, or as the leather starts to age, as it starts to oxidize, it has a little bit of a shininess to the leather. Maybe you can't see it on that one. Maybe you can see it on this one a little bit better, but it has a little bit of that shine. And once that shine goes away, that's when you run into the risk of the cracking of the leather, as I stated before. So it makes a huge difference. And then once you add that conditioner, it kind of still makes it look a little dull. It does definitely end up lightening it up, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't have the same, it doesn't have the same luster that I think that leather should have, especially if you're going for that natural process. So that's why I don't recommend it, you know, and as I said before, when I used it on that piece of Vachetta that I had, it was so dull. I ended up using leather conditioner, and it still made the bag darker as the piece was before I started using it. So really, it just adds more and more, you know, things that you have to add on top of the leather if that's not the end result that you want. The other technique that I wanted to discuss is baby wipes. Now, do I know that baby wipes are delicate? Yes, I do. But when I think of baby wipes, I think of two things. I think of babies, and I think of makeup remover. I do not think of leather whatsoever. I have had 2 sales associates from Chanel tell me that I can clean off my jumbo or my medium large using baby wipes, and I can just kind of bring the luster back to life. And I've seen a lot of people, you know, talk about using baby wipes on their Vachetta for their Speedies, for their Neverfulls, or for the Louis Vuitton pieces, or Dooney & Bourke pieces, what have you. But like I said before, it's not that I don't recommend it. I just don't really, I wouldn't do it, because I would rather use something on my leather bags that is intended for leather. Leather conditioner, leather cleaner, leather moisturizer. I wouldn't necessarily use a baby wipe to clean off any of the Vachetta. There have been a few times when I tried it off on that same strip, on that same handle. So the magic eraser was on one handle, and the baby wipes was on another. And while it does clean it off, I still don't get that same, you know, sheen, that same shine that I would get from my hand oils doing all the work for my handbags. So there's nothing better that you can use if you want that natural look than your own hands, because as you use the bag, as you have that normal wear to it, it'll start to develop that color, it'll start to develop that sheen, and there's really nothing else that you should use for it if that's what you want. But my final thoughts are, you know, to each their own, as I said before. It's ultimately your handbag and your choice. Whether you want to use something to alter it, whether you want to use something to speed up the patina process, it's all entirely up to you, you know, but as I've told you guys in the beginning, as I've told you guys since the beginning of my channel, I am not one to do anything to my handbags. I like the story that they tell. I like the beauty marks that they have, and aging gracefully is something that I think all of my bags will do, you know, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to clean it up. There's nothing wrong with wanting to just get rid of a stain, especially if you buy something pre-loved and you want to be able to clean it up. There are different things that you can do, but as I told you guys, I don't really recommend those two. You know, the baby wipes, it is what it is. It's not really like good or bad. I just don't really see the point in it. And the other one is the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, which I definitely don't recommend. But, you know, that is my own personal opinion. To each their own. Your handbags are your own prerogative. But I just wanted to come on here and give you guys an in-depth, you know, kind of look into how I feel about patina, how I feel about cleaning the Vachetta and whatnot. So I hope this video has been able to help you guys out. And if you guys have any other cleaning techniques or any other patina techniques or whatever, just let us know in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear anything that you guys have to say. And yeah, so that's just what I end up doing with my pieces, my leather pieces. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next week. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.